requires a minimum lot size under conditional use of 20,000 square feet. Their current proposed lot does not meet that.
What's that noise?
Printer. Copier. Thank you.
Part of their variance request was that portion of the ordinance. Again, our recommendation is that the board schedule a public hearing to further consider the conditional use application. For the subdivision application, we only had a few different comments regarding this matter with the drawings. Names of the current tax records of all property owners within 200 feet should be shown on the plan drawings. Currently, right now, they have everything on their side of the state road, but the other side of the state road does not show any parcels. All existing easements we're looking for on their plan drawings to be submitted just for records. That as well as any proposed setbacks. Last part would be the concrete monuments shall be set at the intersection of all lines forming angles of the boundary. Currently, they have no proposed pins nor monuments. We did recommend approval of the subdivision plan contingent upon approval of all zoning variances requested, as well as contingent on all comments made in our letter. Land development, we also did recommend approval contingent on the zoning variances in our comments. Via their land development application needs, they need to have the proposed lot 1 shown on the plan drawings. Currently, they have everything shown on the existing parcel, but did not show their new parcel. All this comes out onto a state road, so all HOPs will be required prior to construction due to PennDOT. That includes stormwater and driveway, as well as any work that they are performing within the right-of-way of PennDOT. The plan currently shows no erosion and sedimentation controls. We're asking to see those prior to approval, as well as any stormwater management, best management practices. Currently, they have no proposed stormwater, which should be required under the stormwater management ordinance for the township. That's what I have.
Missing a lot of stuff.
So you said the date of letter is September 13th, which is last Friday. Today is Monday. Have they responded at all to you?
We have not received any response.
You may not receive any response because they're probably at the convention.
Most likely.
So, we recommend the supervisor schedule a public hearing for the conditional use application as soon as possible.
Yes.
So we have to go through the advertising process for that. Okay, so then there's a subdivision application that's contingent upon the zoning variance.
Yes.
So, now you have 2 matters that need to have zoning hearings scheduled.
3 actually, but yes.
But from tonight's meeting, at least I know 2. So.
Yes, 2.
So you'll call Mr. Cosmo and schedule that?
Yes.
All right. So what do you recommend for us to do today? Recommend to the board that they schedule a public hearing on the conditional use?
Yes.
Okay.
As well as the approval of the subdivision application and the land development applications.
But there's certain, if I'm correct, you have certain items you need them to meet in terms of subdivision, don't you think?
Correct.
So you want to make a motion to recommend approval, subject to the complying with the aspects of the September 13th letter, correct?
Yes.
What else besides, we talked about the subdivision, we talked about the conditional use, what else do you have to worry about?
Land development as well.
And what's your recommendation? Approve that?
Yes.
Recommend approval. Subject to your conditions?
Yes.
He's in the principal's office.
He's pulling teeth.
Excuse me?
I said you're pulling teeth.
No, it's because when I type
trying to
stuff,
get
I'm
my-
in the office.
No, he's young still, so you have to sit there
I
and lead him
know.
on. No, I'm not, hey, I'm not trying to be difficult, but I remember as young attorney being in court, and the judge would ask me questions like this.
Well, let me ask. We know what the positive aspect is sewage treatment. What's the negative ability to have this facility there for the surrounding people?
Hmm?
Currently, there's only one parcel that would be affected, and it's the homeowner that is subdividing. They're really the only close household to this.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. As I get older, my hearing starts to go also. You say it again, speak louder.
Currently, there's only one household that is in close proximity to this pump station. It would be the house that is subdividing their parcel to Peters Creek Sanitary Authority. Everything is currently underground for what they're proposing, so there's no impacts for visual or anything like
There's
that.
no potential venting or in the future or downtime or failure of the system.
There definitely could be, but they are under consent orders, so this is something that the DEP is pushing.
So what they're doing here is this subdivision, or whatever, land development, is for the possible future construction of a lift station, pump station.
Pump station.
Pump station to convey sewage,
Correct.
that's what it's all about.
Well, I'm asking you as a professional. I've heard there's a vacuum system and then there's a lift system. Would a vacuum system work under this, in this particular area versus a lift or a grinder pump or a lift station?
I'm unsure of that answer.
But that,
That's a
I,
Peters Creek question.
I dealt with vacuum system before.
Okay,
A vacuum system, you have to have a certain type of, you have to have certain, we have that in Bellisville. Is that what you're
yeah, I
talking
know
about?
that, yeah.
We have that in Bellisville. You don't, vacuum systems can be very problematic because you have to have special pumps and everything else. And if you have a break in a line, then you
You
put
don't
stuff,
have that, yeah.
so you don't wanna have any vacuum system.
Okay, but, no, cause we tied into one, and I know from the house went into a tank, and it lifted it to the vacuum. So apparently, a degree of the waste was treated, and there's a, whatever, valve
There's a
system,
valve system.
and it discharged into the vacuum line, which in that particular area, it goes up and down repeated hills and
Mhm.
valleys. And it's probably the only system that would work in relationship to the distance between the small developments in the valley.
Well,
But it was unique.
in Bellisville,
Well, first time I ran into it. And,
I did that with the bulkhead system, so was Clancy's back there.
okay. But, you know, on this particular house, there was a red light or something, that the power failure of the tank was to hold a certain amount until the power kicked on, and there was electric involved, and pumping involved, and processing of effluents, and so forth.
Back in the 1980s, the federal government had all this money available, and those are called innovative alternative systems, vacuum systems and step systems. So, and we all got 75% grant. So what happened was these people, the feds all came in and forced you to do them. But then what happened was the step system was basically having a holding tank there, beat the sludge, took the
Yeah.
liquid off owner.
Right.
Most places, they spent millions of dollars. I know at Dry Town, we ended up taking them out after 10, 15 years. It was worthless. The vacuum system is somewhat better, but the more moving parts you have in the sewage system, the worse you are.
Right. Okay.
This is a lift station.
So it's.
Yeah.
It's a lift station.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's not grinders,
Mm-mm.
it's not that, you know.
well,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Told him that.
Yes,
It-
Chuck.
It's still pumping solids, or a degree of solids,
Yes, yeah.
in the system, and which, a certain type pump is required to do that versus another one.
You're right.
And there's still maintenance on that as such. So, is there two pumps there at this facility? One goes down, there's an alternate?
There
They have a
is.
replacement pump?
Usually you have a lift station.
There is a backup pump.
You usually have, you're right, you have two pumps, they put them side by side. Then you always keep you keep a backup thing just in case one goes down. Then you're supposed to have two lines of electric lines coming in case one goes down, you can draw off, then you have to have a generator.
I believe, as well.
Backup generator.
There's a generator if the power goes out.
In fact, the lift station in Bellsville has a bronze plaque, my name's on it.
Oh, God.
The Dennis makeshift station.
So is Dyson Engineers on it.
I've seen it, I'm working on it right now.
All right.
They're replacing pumps.
So some of the consideration on the type of pump, they're at the very end of their service area. So they're at the very tip end of where they would not be any longer in their service area. So there was another pump alternative when it went to court in 22. Actually, Peters Creek Sanitary added the additional funds to the project to service more Union Township residents. So in their regard, that was something they didn't have to do. We had agreed on a system, each paying half, and they came up with another alternative where they could hit the last and final people in their service area in that area. That was an additional, I think, $200 and something thousand, and they paid the difference. They paid the gap. So we paid the $550, they paid $550. They came back and paid another $250 so that they could finish off that service area to everybody in Union Township that was in their sanitary area.
Okay. John, you had a question, comment?
If you want a simplified description, and what was the plan that went up to the state, Act 30?
What's that?
537.
Act 537.
I think you took a look at the Act 537, so you got a line running down both sides of Finleyville, Elrama, down to Burnsworth's property, and a line coming down from Gilmore. So they'll meet in a vault, and you've got your pumps in that there. You'll pump it up a line that will go up to the top of the hill up here to the manholes at the top of the hill. That's the last manhole in the Peters Creek service area.
The other thing to your question, the properties that surround it is the Nike site that the township owns, and an Equitrans property, gas storage to the right, Nike site behind, and Mr. Burnsworth, whose property this is, to the left. So those would be somewhat of the affected properties.
And what I understand is that on the other side of the road, there is a sewer line.
They think there's a
We'll call it
wildcat pipe, yeah.
sewer pipe down, which raises concern about when they do this construction, about how they plan to handle that wildcat sewer line. Because that is a problem. I'm assuming it might have been Nike site. but I-
It is,
Mhm.
there was housing for the military up Gilmore to the left, then you had somewhere in the decommissioning in 93, they mentioned where they bring storage over to, across Finleyville, Elrama Road, to what was pre-Peters Creek Sanitary. It was called something else, but it was a sanitary authority that they took the Nike site, pumped under Finleyville, Elrama Road, up to like Victoria Drive area to get it into the system. So, but there's no mapping of that, just it references it and they found it, but they don't know where it
Was
goes.
that rough drawing? Was it in that one, like, hand-drawn rough drawing in
Yeah,
the,
'cause,
in
well,
that,
the Nike sites were, but not what's over on the other side.
on the other side, right? It's a
Okay,
crazy
any
book.
Any more questions, comments about vacuum systems, lift stations?
Mm-mm.
How many properties are involved in Elrama?
28?
And I think there's allowed some expansion too.
There's 28 properties with the
Gilmore.
size of this particular lift station, some of those properties could be developed. And it would service those as well. So when you say 28 properties, some of the properties
It's
are
not necessarily
large.
28 houses.
Right.
Right now it
Just
is 28 houses, but there is,
Additional properties.
there's some properties that people have been trying to develop or something.
There's excess capacity on
Right.
Yes, that was one of the $250,000 upgrade is why I put this size in, and then you just, that was the problem with the grinder pumps, it was a closed system. once you put it in, nobody else was getting into it.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody else on the planning commission?